That's a attack with a lot of firepower. Why were you guys so effective against them?
I think Orlando ended up, especially by the second half, we were very much high pressing them, which gave our attack a lot of space and a lot of room to run. And I think with Laura's tactical game plan, by sort of the last 20, 30 minutes of the game, everything sort of opens up for us, and that's when our attack is most effective. That's when our midfield's making third-man runs, and especially the bench is huge for us. They bring on fresh legs, so much energy, and it was great. We were so close to getting that goal in, but it's just nice to see everything coming together, especially towards the end of the game.
As a member of that back line, when you're in such a high press, you fall into the danger of if they put a ball over, you have to find a way to recover it. What'd you do in order to be able to not fall into a dangerous situation with such a high press?
I give a lot of credit to our midfield and our wingers. A big part of that is since we have a high press, you have to immediately stop that long ball in the switch. That's the first thing. Like, let them play short, let them play out, because our biggest worry is if they play over the top, it's then a foot race. So what we do is we make sure the minute somebody loses the ball, you swarm and you go and attack and you make sure that they can't play that long ball. That's the first thing. So I think that really helps us. So we're on the back foot, but we get to stay a little higher because we know the initial press is going to stop that immediate long ball over us.
Obviously, you've been in the 11 the last couple games, but there were a couple earlier where you came on as a sub. What's that like, kind of going back and forth a little bit between being a sub and being in the 11?
I had to deal with a little bit of injury. I tore some cartilage in my knee, but now I'm fully getting back and recovering. But it doesn't matter the role. It's just understanding either when you're starting, when you're coming in as a sub, it's the dynamic of where you are tactically, where the game's at, what your opponent's like. So Orlando and Washington have been very kind of low press where they stay off of the wide players. So she wants a little more people who are riskier at going up. And I think I like to go way up the line. So I think tactically it's why I've been on the field. But, it's just understanding who you're against, what your team needs at the time, and knowing your role in that game.
Brooke, right along with what you're saying, playing high up the line, it seemed like the first 30 minutes you were kind of really frustrated. You were having a hard time getting the ball. How were you able to communicate with your teammates and start getting more involved in the attack as the game went on?
What Laura talked about is we needed to be braver, and I think that is spot on because what we like to do is, play simple, keep the ball, be smart. But sometimes if we see that, either our winger, like Kelly going down the line, Diana, or I, we just have to be able to, play that risky ball sometimes and catch them on the front foot. So I think I was a bit frustrated because I'm making that run and the track back is a little tiresome. But so sometimes it's just communicating that better. And I think the minute at about 30 minutes in and even at halftime, we all came in, talked about that, and I think the second half was worlds better.
On that same note, you and Kelly seem to be clicking more. Will you describe the development of your guys' communication and relationship over the last few games that she's been a winger?
Kelly is awesome to play with because she communicates so much. To me, if she's making the run in and I need to be on a different line, she's always telling me that. And so that's great as a younger player because if you know what somebody else is going to do, that just makes your job easier because now you know what you need to do on the counter side. So it's been fun to work with her because she switches up her run so much, which gives me the opportunity to sort of switch up my run. So we're never on the same line. We're always kind of working dynamically together, which has made for it's really hard for opposition because they don't know what we're going to do. And sometimes we don't even know what we're going to do. But it's great because it's so dynamic and it's quick and it's never the same sort of movement. So I think that's why it's been really fun to play with Kelly.